welcome back to Straight Facts. It's Wednesday. You know what that means. I'm joined by Judge Mo, Hussam. We're here for the next 90 minutes or so to sit and talk football with all of you. Make sure like buttons are hit. Make sure you are subscribing. Make sure that bell notification button is also turned on. Loads to go through today. A massive injury blow for Liverpool Football Club that we'll be delving into after their Carabao Cup game last night. We're talking Arsenal and how Saka, with Madueke being out, must get back to his best, and how Arsenal must win their next few games, really and truly. Plus, a big report this afternoon that Maresca is under big pressure, with players reportedly turning on him or losing faith in him, as per the reports. We are going to delve into all of this and much more. So sit yourselves in, grab a cup of tea, bottle of water, whatever your tipple, and sit back and enjoy it. Gentlemen, how are you both?
I'm great. Next to the round of Carabao Cup, even that had drama in it. But yeah, I wish Leoni a speedy recovery. It's horrible news, obviously, for the 18-year-old. And why are you drinking Fiji water? Why are you drinking Fiji water, you bougie bastard?
It's not Fiji water. It's filled by filtered water, but it's not Fiji. You think I sit here? You think I sit here and I buy Fiji water for like $10
That's what I'm saying. You bought that bottle of water for $10. Show the audience right now. Ain't no way you paid $10 for that right there.
Of course, it's from a hotel. What do you think?
And you just fill it in.
What do you think?
That's what he does, though. Yeah, fill it up, though, and it just looks like he bougie.
Yeah, just fill it up. First.
Not that rich.
Wow. I met you. I saw your watch.
Not that rich.
Man took 2 years off, though, working, building his YouTube channel. No money. No, yeah.
Well,
I like it. Loads to go through. I wanted to start the show, though. I wanted to get it out of the way. Because we needed to address this because you got so much stick for it. If we rewind 4 weeks ago, maybe 5 weeks ago, no, about 4 weeks ago, 4.5 weeks ago, we had a disagreement on this show, you two and I, that your suggestion was if Belieber comes into Man United, you said that we would play better football, we'd be a much better team, a more competitive team, a team that wins a lot more games, that is more competent on the football pitch, essentially. And you said United would be fixed. Now, we had a big argument because I don't constitute that as my football club being fixed. I think when we're fixed is when we're a team that genuinely has the capability of winning the league, not necessarily winning it, but the capability. And we had a good to and fro in a debate, and we agreed to disagree, and we moved on. But I felt a little sorry for you two. And I don't mean that in a condescending way on Friday, because Staffy jumped in during that debate. Staffy jumped in and put you two on blast. You're chatting nonsense. You're crazy. Tear. Just for him, okay, 3.5 to 4 weeks later, to tell me, okay, that one, my understanding of the word fixed is wrong. Two, that it doesn't take 3 to 4 years to fix Man United, because Man United are not fixed when we're trying to win league titles. That's perfection when you're in title races. By the way, if any Arsenal fan ever hears Staffy call out Arsenal again for not being good enough, they're currently in the perfection phase because they're challenging for league titles. We all heard what he said. And in fact, he stated that Man United being fixed is when we're playing good football, where we're very, very competitive and we're playing in a competent way. And I felt like I needed to bring it up with you two today because of the way he came for you just 4 or so weeks ago with the complete and utter opposite view of the word fixed.
Let Mo go first. I'll go after him.
That was my explanation of fixing. Like, I'm not saying that fixing Man United is you winning every trophy. Is you being up there with the best of the best in the world, like just competing for Champions League, for the Premier League. Like that winning thing is the next step. Is basically you're winning the title. That you're crowning how you fixed your club. The problem with the Man United fan base is just, to be honest with you, you guys are so divided in terms of like what is fixing, what is the next phase. Someone like you, for example, you just want to get better. All you want is get better and actually on the pitch get better. Some other Man United fans are actually still thinking that, oh my God, we deserve something. We're owed something because we're Man United. Like, we need to be competing for the titles now. And I think Man United will take the longest route out of all the teams to actually go back to competing for the title. I actually think currently you're kind of a hopeless case. I'm being completely honest. You're a hopeless case. With Amarim, I don't think it's going to get fixed with Amarim soon. Maybe if you wait with Amarim 3-4 years, yes. But it's not going to be the short fix like I thought it would be. That to take the shorter route, you might need to sack him today and just hire someone else right away. Amarim might fix. There is nothing out of the realms of possibility that maybe Man United will go and compete for the titles under Amarim. But that might take 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And I don't think that you will be patient like this, because I think you will be floating around 7s, 8s, 9s, places like this. And I actually realized the problem is not Bruno Fernandes. The problem is not Meno. It's not Mbuemo. It's not Maguire, actually. It's none of these guys. It's not the players, as people want to say. It's not. Because I give the example, if you take Arne Slot...
But more, your example is like conspiracy theory a little bit, which is the shirt of Man United.
How is it conspiracy theory? Because if I ask anyone...
You think the shirt is just heavy for people, basically?
If I tell anyone in the world, and no one can answer me other than the expected answer, if Liverpool tomorrow, the same team, the same managers, take the squad with the manager, switch them, make them train at Man United facility, get them 1 week at Man United, do you think they will be challenging for the title? No, they won't. They won't be. I think the culture is going to be there. People actually explained it to me perfectly. I had a Man United fan on my channel, I can't remember who said that the problem stems from up there. It's the winning mentality. It's the acceptance of failure. It's the acceptance of a loss. At Liverpool, it took Jurgen Klopp a couple of years to actually embed that winning mentality. If, by the way, anybody that doesn't understand, with all due respect, that doesn't understand what I'm saying, doesn't know and didn't play football. It happens in Africa. It happens in Asia for the big clubs. Once a player that comes from a losing team goes to the big club, right, the club that is winning, their mentality shifts because the people around them actually embed the winning mentality. The problem, I'm going to say the last thing. I swear to God, the problem is the majority of the generation that we talk to on YouTube or Twitter have actually grown up thinking that Man United will always be winners. And we see it now with Man City fans. They are panicking because they are used to, especially the new ones that supported Man City when they're winning, they are used to Man City only be winners. And that doesn't happen. It doesn't. I swear to God, bro, I speak to people and they think they're entitled for Man United to be winning and be up there. Who do you think you are? Just grow up. Football doesn't work like this. You are in England. England is so specific and so special about the teams because you will only in Spain, in Germany, you'll always see Barcelona's worst is coming third. Right? That's Barcelona's worst seasons, third, fourth. In England, you can be Arsenal and come 8th. You can be Man City. You can be Spurs and come 17th. It happens because in England, there is more than 2-3 teams that compete for titles, right? Like, that is what people need to understand. You, Man United, and not you, Terry, Man United team and Man United Football Club might be the big one in revenue and stuff like this. In terms of fear, in terms of on the pitch, you're not feared like a big club. Nobody plays Man United in the world and fearful of Man United. And fear is a big factor. Sam was saying it. They're the Shaitan club now. Like, they're the Devil's Club, Liverpool. When we have Chelsea fans telling us that they already are accepting the loss at Stamford Bridge against Liverpool, that's fear. That's what Man United used to be in the 90s and the 2000s. You're playing Man United, it doesn't matter if it's John O'Shea, it doesn't matter if it's Wes Brown, Darren Fletcher, it doesn't matter. It's Manchester United. You're telling me that the Man United team now is worse than John O'Shea, Wes Brown, Raphael, and his brother's name? No, they're Anderson in the midfield. You still won titles. Because you still had that heritage, that shirt. Bro, Al-Ahli in Egypt is the same, and Hussam knows exactly what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter who plays for Al-Ahli. It doesn't matter which player plays for Al-Ahli. They're just winners. The club is winners.
Yeah, I want to go to this super chat for a second because it says that the fixed debate is muddled by the fact that it needs stages. Some see early stages constituting the club as being fixed, while others don't. What we can all agree on is that United is broken, and changing that takes time. And I think this is the conversation for me, because I got very annoyed talking to Staffy, not because I disagree with his opinion. It was just the constant he said to me afterwards, don't use the word fixed, Terry. People get confused by it. I don't think Man United fans are confused. Most are confused by what the term fixed means when I then explain it. And I think we often get sort of caught up in the words we're both using to describe a situation. I completely agree with Staffy, and this super chat's perfect. It's going to take time to get to that stage of being able to compete for a league title and be genuine contenders every year. Now, I don't think that's seeking perfection, because I think seeking perfection would be, I want to win the league title nearly every season. I think that is a ridiculous standard to set before you look at it. And when I say fixed, I mean where we can lose games and not win titles and not win trophies, and I'm not losing my mind because I always know we're going to be there or thereabouts. And I think with what we spend on players, what we pay in wages, I don't think that's the wrong level of expectation. I think that's very different from having a feeling we've got a God-given right to win. I'm comparing it to if we start spending what Brighton spend on transfers and salary, my expectations will adjust accordingly. But where you're right is there has to be a step change. There has to be a process to getting things fixed. I just don't consider us playing better football. I just don't consider us being, for example, and I get where Staffy's coming. And I look, part of it, and I use Staffy as an example because this is why the debate came back up. Every time there's a manager in, manager out debate, the people that are vehement prescribers to either side, the toxic guys that want him in, they won't hear any criticism against him. The people that want him out, anything that's perceived as defending him, they push back against. So when people like me say it's going to take 3 or 4 years to fix this, I mean, you're removing the context of I'll be on a match reaction talking about the game, and then I'll get a super chat that will say, how long do you think it's going to take us to be fixed, Terry? And get back to winning titles. I sit there and say 3 to 4 years. For an Amorim outer to interpret that as me defending Amorim, suggesting that means we have to give a manager who's struggling 4 years, it's not what's being said. But I think what happens is your anger, your frustration, your desperation for United to be better is just stopping your brain from understanding that the reason that was brought up. I mean, typically speaking, I wouldn't bring it up on a match reaction, but we are YouTubers who are to a degree beholden to our audiences. If right now £100 super chat comes in and says, can you guys please discuss a game last night in League One? Out of respect for a super chat of that size, I'd sit here and start Googling it and start reading it and talk about it because that audience member wanted it. And if loads of people started super chatting about a certain subject, you go with the audience. Just message 101 to anyone who wants to be a streamer. You might have an agenda, but your audience dictates which way and what direction the show goes in by, and especially when people are super chatting and donating to keep your channel going. You know, back in the day, people used to get PayPal. There you go, or there you go. There's a drink or there's a whatever. Now they actually get to get involved in the show, and it's an amazing thing YouTube created. But let's park that for a second. I agree with Staffy that before we can ever get back to winning titles or challenging for them, which is a stage lower, we've got to become competent and more consistent in our performances. But what I find very interesting about that is that we're in that stage as United fans again, where some only want to focus on the manager, where some only want to focus on what he is doing wrong. And what we're doing again is letting players off the hook. We've seen already this season, the stats came out today that were fantastic, that show all the teams that have underperformed and overperformed. And this is based on not just your XG. This is your XG for, your XG against, possession, the territories, the big chances you've missed, the big chances you've conceded, mistakes that have led to goals, etc. They put all of these facts in. And actually, when you look at this and you actually think about it, you see Liverpool's there in the middle, like on 15 points. I don't think any Liverpool fan would disagree with, in terms of performances, wouldn't look at that and say the difference is between Liverpool and Manchester United. You know, it's really funny, right? We both track towards about the same amount of points in terms of performances. Do you know the biggest difference between our two clubs in these opening 3 games? If we're going to be honest, forget your allegiances, forget who you like, forget the manager you want in and want out. Their goalkeeper hasn't thrown the ball into the back of his own net on a couple of occasions, and their attackers have been clinical at the right moments. That's why one has 7 points and one has 15. Now, over the course of 38 games, Liverpool's performances will be more consistent than Manchester United's. There's no doubt about it. But with Man United, when we're in this state of mind, logic goes out the window, honest conversations die, everything becomes about a manager, and it as the super chat said, it muddies the water. I haven't changed my view on what I believe Man United being fixed is. In terms of where I can maybe relax a little bit and say, that area of my job as a fan is done. I can stop stressing, like I did during Fergie's era, in the sense of we didn't win the league every year, didn't win the Champions League every year, didn't win the FA Cup every year, but I always knew we'll go into the summer, we'll go again next year. And I know people hate that phrase now, we go again. I don't. If you truly believe in your team, saying we go again next year and being behind your club, I don't see it as like a delusional way of thinking. It's just how you feel when you're comfortable. And I want to say one last thing about things being fixed. I want to ask you boys a question. Do you both drive? You both have cars?
Yeah.
I assume so, but yeah, I want to ask. If your car's in perfect working order and your tire bursts, do you consider your car broken or in need of or in need of a slight repair?
Yeah, if the car, yeah.
Slight repair. And the reason I say that is because when you hear, like someone said to me the other day, I heard someone say the fixed argument's stupid because every summer all clubs need like repair to their squad, new players, etc. And I was like, yeah, think of it like a car. You might get a crack on your windscreen. You might have a slow puncture in one tire. You might need, I don't know, some paint work being done. There might be a little noise rattling inside, but your car still works, right? It still moves. There's always maintenance that's needed on any car at all times.
Today,
even
to
brand
register
new
my
one.
car, I needed to just paint it with 20 pounds. Like I needed to paint the sides because when my mom was driving it, she scratched a wall like this, so they didn't allow it to be registered until it's like fixed, basically. So
There we go, and that's the way I view Manchester United. We're never going to no football club is ever going to be in perfect working order without a problem, without an injury, without someone that wants to leave or a member of the board wants to go. You're always going to have to fix small things. But Manchester United right now, if we were a car, we don't have an engine. The paintwork's shot. The wheels are on the floor. Like we're not in working order as far as a big club is concerned. So I just refrain from using the word fixed until we're at that point where cosmetics things are all we kind of need, little bits here and there. But we're a long way from that still.
I'll say this about this fixed argument. The funny part is Staffy didn't agree with Staffy. Because Staffy called out what I said and what Mo said when we spoke about Baleba. That's the thing. Like my opinion of the word fixed is still the same thing. Because for me, challenging and winning is separated by a hair. Like challenging and winning is separated by a hair, by one line, by a little bit, because you have to be there to be ordered to have a chance to win. No one thinks United have a chance of winning the league even. No one thinks Spurs has a chance of winning the league. But people do think Arsenal have a chance of winning the league. Liverpool have a chance. City have a chance. Chelsea have a chance. These four clubs people look at and go like, okay, there is a chance. The problem is Man United don't even have a chance right now. No one gives them a chance. No one believes. No one thinks United are going to win the league. And that's the thing. And for me, when I said what I said, I maintain my opinion from a month ago. I agree with what Staffy said on Friday, but not what he said a month ago. Because what he said on Friday is, look, fixing Man United right now is getting to the level where you at least are challenging for a league. Because for me, I disagree on the last step. I think that last step is probably one of the easiest things to do. Whether it be maybe, you know, like as an example, I believe Arteta can't get Arsenal over the line. So maybe the next step is like sack Arteta, hire Conte. Now you don't need to rebuild anymore. You don't need to blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying? So like there's levels to this whole thing. Meaning, look at the transition from Klopp to Slot. Liverpool were fixed already. We were fixed. So the reason why Slot was able to come into a team and win the league in the first year, it's not phase one, it's the first year, is because we were fixed already. Because we had everything ready, and Slot was able to implement his systems and implement it and do this. Now, here's the thing why when me and Mo said Baleba fixes Man United. The reason why we said that in the summer is we think Man United now with Baleba would have probably had a good chance of getting top 5 because that was the missing piece. Now, in our minds, if Man United get Champions League football for the next 3 years, the reason why that constitutes fixed is that last step of winning the league, that last step of going from 3rd to 1st is actually easier than people think. That last step is in the summer, you sign 1-2 world-class players. That's it. You don't overdo it with like selling and buying and selling and buying. And then after that, if you need a new manager to get you over the line, you get it. And that's my thing. And to answer Mo's question, here is why Man United want to be successful. And I stick by this opinion. It's not because of just the Glazers and the Ineos and the manager and the blah blah blah. It's because of the former pundits. The reason why if Slot becomes a United manager and brings the entirety of the Liverpool squad to Man United, they still wouldn't win the league is because of that. It's because of the likes of Rio, because of the likes of Neville, because of the like of Scholes, Keane. I don't think they are providing Man United fans with the reality or with the truth. I think the likes of Terry and even Staffy and United content creators provide a lot more home truths about the football club than actual former pundits. Every single time you're watching TV or you're watching a clip, one of these guys starts off in his analysis by going like, we're Man United, and then decides to describe something. And the other reason is Standards FC. These two people combined together, the former pundits and Standards FC, is the reason why there will be no movement forward. Because people need to accept now, okay, we're Man United. We are the second biggest club in England. We are massive. For the last 30 years, we dominated English football. Completely accept that. But now it's time to take a step back and go like, look, we are shit for the last 13 years, and we have to build from the ground up. And that's why for me as well, and I'll say this just before I quickly, because my mom needs my help for 2 minutes, just before I go help my mom and come back. Here's the thing.
Mummy's boy.
Of course, my mom is. I always help my mom anytime.
It's good to have a mate. Yeah, I like mate.
I admit it. I am a mama's boy always. So like my thing is, if Slot was United manager, what would happen to him? Like, what would be the pressures? What would be the pressures of the media? What would be the pressures of the pundits? What would be the pressures of Standard FC coming and going like, we should be winning the league, we should be challenging for the league?
I don't disagree with anything you've said, and this is why it's important to find common ground and not just argue over someone's definition. The only thing I push back on is I wouldn't use the word fixed when the football becomes more competent. The reason being is because I think if I got to take over Manchester United tomorrow, there'd be an end goal. The end goal for me is what would constitute as complete, as fixed, as we are back where we want to be. And I do think we should have the goal as a club of becoming the best team in England again. That should be the goal. Where I completely agree with Hassam is I think doing this, we're Man United and we have to be at this level straight away. You see this with the pundits. And forget what's happened under Ruben Amorim, because the criticism is right. The win percentage is too low. But we saw this under Ollie. Now, his friends didn't criticize him, but it was, yeah, we're getting better and yeah, we're winning, but we're nowhere near the United standard yet. What we don't want to do, the pundits behave in the same way that the ignoramuses at Standard FC do. And this is why I also took exception to being called extreme the other day, because I want to get to that end goal. I agree with the end goal, but people that discount the step change and the fact it's going to take years to get there frustrate me. That doesn't mean, by the way, when I say it's going to take 3 or 4 years to improve, that doesn't mean a manager that's failing should get 3 or 4 years. I don't quite know how people are putting 2 and 2 together and getting 597. I absolutely agree that if we, let's say Ruben turns it round or a new manager comes in, it doesn't act, that's not actually the important part of the stages here. The next guy comes in and we get to a 60% win ratio, we get into the top 5, we're beating some of the top teams and we're more competitive. What that needs, which the majority of Arsenal fans did, and it helped them. The Liverpool fans did, and it helped them. Chelsea over the last year or so have been doing this, and it helped them. You get behind it and encourage it. That's where, for a period, you don't always have to think about yesteryear. The end result might be we want to get back to our peak standard, but understanding that it takes time to get there. And we live in this world where I think people want to ignore those step changes because it's really weird, right? The Amorim Outers are doing it for different reasons to Standard FC, but they're both doing the same thing. Is you want to ignore the stages because you don't want to not have, because the Standard FC guys want to moan about things. It's kind of either their nature as a person or it's the way they create content. And then you've got the Amorim Outers who, yeah, hang on, if you're saying it takes 3 or 4 years, you're saying we should stick with this manager. No. And let's have that conversation. Let's find commonality. But the people that are wrong, that Man United just cannot go from where we are now to trying to win titles overnight just by Rio Ferdinand and Gary Neville saying this isn't the Man United standard. I mean, it just doesn't help anybody. What they should be doing is saying we've got to be stripped right back especially someone like Gary Neville and Rio that run multiple businesses that understand that sometimes you have to strip things right to their bare bones, right to their core, and start them again to get them back to the top. The fact that these guys, in what they do in a business sense, what they do in their corporate lives, the fact they're not applying that logic, the fact they obviously grew up in the Neville was at the United Academy when United were being built. He was a United fan at that time. The fact he doesn't draw on that, and the issue is that when he does draw on it, though, then you get the Amram out to go, but yeah, we so much stick with Fergie for 7 years with no league title. No one's saying that either. Let's find some commonality in this. But I do listen. I agree with everything that Sam said, barring using the word fixed when the football's better. It's going to take a lot.
Can you put Patrick's comment again? The second one.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make the distinction between sorting out our club as a whole and sorting out a team. Brilliant comment, Patrick. Absolutely brilliant comment.
Yes.
Beating Baleba might help fix the team, but it doesn't change the overall issue at the club.
It might fix how we play. Yes.
I said that. I said that when I had the argument with you. I said the fixing, what I mean is the team, the on the pitch, the mentality, the culture of the club, how the kit man think, how the board think. That requires a lot of work, and a lot of things to do. Listen, Inter, the best example, Patrick, which is you're spot on about this, is when Antonio Conte joined Spurs. He right away said, I'm going to make Champions League football. That year, he's like, I'm making Champions League football. He fixed the team that year. He made Champions League football. He achieved his target, but the club was not fixed. The mentality the year after and the year after, it wasn't fixed. And the ownership and the board went back to the wrong mentality. When I say Baleba goes to Man United, it fixes that midfield problem. You need physicality. It fixes that physicality in the midfield. But it doesn't change the club. Listen, Terry, I'm tired of this because of one thing. The Amarim out. The problem is, with all due respect, I love Saeed, entertaining Saeed. And Saeed is one of the guys that helped me on YouTube as well. But I remember Saeed recorded a video in front of Old Trafford and said, this is the man. This is the guy that's going to fix it. We need to get behind the guy. And Saeed said, if it doesn't work with Amarim, fold the club. My point with this is that, and I'm not actually pointing to Saeed, is that with Mourinho it happened, with Van Gaal it happened, with Ranić happened, with Ten Hag it happened, with Oli it happened. There must be something else to be able to give Man United back. It's impossible. You know what? You keep changing the tire and buy the same tire, but the car is not working. The wheel.
If you keep buying new tires, but your tracking's off and the balance of your car is off, that one tire is going to wear down quicker than the other tires, and you're not going to understand why. Root cause analysis is needed. But equally, it's so hard to have this conversation because the Amarim outers will just go, stop defending him. It's not about defending him. It's about wanting the root cause problems fixed. I agree that you can fix the team whilst the club isn't still fixed. The team can become fixed and you've still got to go to other areas. But if the club isn't fixed, I don't think you can ever fully fix a team on the field of play because the club's got to be fixed culturally for the mentality to be right. And I also don't think just Baleba fixes this because Bayern Dare would have still thrown that ball into the back of his net. Onana would have still conceded those goals against Grimsby. There would still have been problems with this team. And I think even for us to play consistent, competent football, I still think that's going to take a couple of years. Could we, though? And this is where the conversation's so hard because by now, Amarim Outers' brains have already switched off and they're fuming, screaming at their computer screens, their TVs and phones. But should you be able to win more games even with this squad? Yes. And it's about having an honest conversation and debate. In fairness, put that bottle up again. With the way that's shaped at the top, it looked like a vodka bottle. I was made me laugh there from the back.
No.
I know it wouldn't be, but it shook me for a second. It was the Ridge Ultra Baby. There we go. But great conversation around that. Viewers, make sure you hit the like button and make sure you are. Terry,
bullshit, yeah.
Were Man United fixed when you came second under Oli? No, because we were nowhere near challenging for a league title in either of those seasons. I wouldn't call that fixed. Personally, there we go. Terry is emotionally obsessed with Amarim. No, I'm emotionally obsessed with Manchester United. I love full club. And again,
who fucking put that comment up?
Just again, someone who can't debate and has to lie
if you say that, that means you're very new. I don't know if you're watching someone else. I swear to God, we had very similar conversation about Ten Hag at the end of the season when he won the cup. Do you remember?
And I want
And
him
it's like-
gone.
Yes, yeah. When you were like, okay, should he be gone? Is the board gonna stick with him? What's the right move? It's the same conversation. It's exactly.
I say the same thing every time we're thinking about removing a manager. Let's not stop focusing on the squad. Let's make sure we're getting the right coach. We need. I say the same thing every time. I'm fine with him going. I think he might deserve to at this point. But we have to think about these problems. Everyone goes, shut up, protecting. Shut up, protecting the manager. The new manager comes in for at least. Normally you get a bit longer because the results are better. Then everyone turns on those players and talks about the Glazers and the owners and the structure and Glinios. And then if the results still don't go right, all those things get forgotten about. The manager gets all the pressure. And if you mention those other things, you're told you're protecting him again. And the cycle will start. And in this, I hope it doesn't happen. But let's say the manager does get sacked. Areola comes in. When we're getting, then when we start getting problems, these same people won't let you. Staffy is one of them. Staffy will be coming on the shows with these stats and these statistics and these facts as to why Areola is great. Look at the entries. Look at the succession rate, the XG. He did it with Amorim. Right? He'll do that. It'll be the players and they need a better squad. Once enough players have been bought, if it isn't working, the players get no blame suddenly. It's all on the manager. And you sit there and I just think there still needs to be balance. And like you've said already, Sam is so right. The fans and the pundits are one of the biggest issues with fixing the club, not because they have high standards per se. They ignore what is required to actually get back to that level, and they ignore root cause problems and just push for the club to change often some of the superficial elements of the team, like people thinking selling Pogba was going to fix us. I can never forgive those people.
Rashford, get Rashford out and Sancho and Man United is good.
Yeah, exactly. But listen, Ahmad's now getting abuse from these idiots out there, and he's getting protected by some Man United fans. But those same Man United fans protecting Ahmad didn't care when Ugarte was getting abused when he posted that picture with his girlfriend in the summer. That's why Man United fans as a collective, we're very, very toxic as a collective, because I'll reach out to, I'm not going to name who he is, but I reached out to a certain United fan saying, "Are you not going to go on socials and defend Ugarte today because he's been attacked?" And it was like, bruv, he's rich, he's with his girl, he don't care. Same person today, I see him out there going, people have got to protect Ahmad, man, this ain't fair. And I sit there and I'm like, again, until we as fans start to have the same, protect our club, even if we don't like someone, if we have to be objective because we protect our football club, we're never going to get back. All these little things play a part for me. Never forget these ex-players down tools under Moyes, from first to not third or fourth, but seventh, just because he came from Everton and wasn't an international name. No, I completely agree. We'll come back to that one in a moment. A big up Terry, Don, and Fuji Judge Mo.
Fiji Judge Mo.
Fiji Madro, sorry, Fiji, not Fuji. Fuji's a camera. There we go.
Fucking dickhead.
Moving on from this, because I don't want to run out of time today. Big report this afternoon, gentlemen, that I want to read this to you. He says here, this comes from Indy, that according to Chelsea sources, Cole Palmer is unsatisfied with his tactical role at Chelsea. Certain players find Enzo Maresca to be arrogant. Chelsea's owners are aware of the concerns. It does say that Areola has big admirers at the football club. Obviously, a lot of Chelsea fans are calling this out, saying Indy's not
saying
credible.
Areola, please. His name's Iraola. Areola is the nipple. It's two different things.
I swear it was pronounced with an A.
No, it's Iraola. Andoni Iraola. Areola is nipples. It's two different things.
Love a nipple. How do you say?
Iraola. Andoni Iraola. E. Like Iaramendi. Like, you get me? He's from the Basque region.
Okay. You're probably right. I'm not. I swear I heard someone's.
He's probably right. Why are you checking it? Why don't you believe?
Because I want it. Because I want
Sam. What is this?
I'm going to check it still.
The guy is like, he has masters in English.
He's from the Basque region.
That's Spanish. So got nothing to do with English.
That's Spanish, Mo. Basque region. Spanish. What does English have to do?
I know, like Sam knows how to read like the words stuff.
Yeah, well, I'm just.
Areola is the goalkeeper.
Areola is the French goalkeeper.
That might be why I'm saying it wrong because of that. How do you say it properly?
Iraola.
Iraola.
Yes. Iraola. Right, him anyway, right?
Who's from the Basque region in Athletic Bilbao? Iñaki Williams. It starts with an I.
Iaramendi.
Okay, cool.
I in the Basque is E.
Okay, so what do you make of this Chelsea story? Because look, he's won a lot.
The end.
Do you think
This is the end. This is the end.
You smell the writing on the wall? You smell it?
This is the
If
Chelsea
you
fan.
smell what BlueCo is cooking. Go ahead, Habibi, go ahead. This is your special
Chelsea fans, get ready for the end. Get ready for a new manager coming next season to actually please the players again and please BlueCo. Of course, bro, this is, okay, anyone that is like Indicala has been spot on. It's a new account, it's new people that they have insight. I don't think they've gotten anything wrong, right? I actually believe after the last game that he panicked. However, there is one thing that we see on the pitch. I believe that Maresca's getting instructions from the board to play certain players for value, to increase the value. Like, for example, it didn't make sense to me that Tariq George starting or playing. This definitely has BlueCo written over. Play this guy so you can sell him in January for a profit or in the summer. However,
remember our yes man argument a summer ago?
However, there is a caveat here. There are reports, Terry, that you didn't read, that Maresca's fighting the board. He's not using some of the players they get him because he's against them. And probably this is the end of Maresca. Probably. Is he a good coach? I saw good signs of him. Did he panic the other day? But I want every Chelsea fan in the chat to answer this for me. And I'm going to ask it. Do you think there are plenty of managers that can do better than Enzo Maresca out there that can actually get this team better? Xavi, Iraola can do better with this Chelsea team. And that is the thing. Sticking with Maresca might be okay for the long term, but this team is good, is ready. It has great players and fantastic players that if they get the right manager today, this team can go from here right 2-3 steps above. And Cole Palmer not happy. Maybe Enzo Fernandez might not be happy. I know that, like, he protected him and stuff. Chelsea, to be honest with you, Chelsea are putting me in the mud because I actually backed that club and I backed that team.
Mo actually backed Chelsea really heavily in the summer as well.
Bro, I'm being questioned. Football knowledge being questioned because of Chelsea. Like, what the fuck, bro? What is this? 8 points out of 15. What I expected 15 out of 15.
And by the way, just on that, put this up. This shows, if we can remove that super chat so we can see, the left-hand side shows the start of the season. Opta, in terms of assessing the quality of opponents, says that Chelsea had the second easiest start to the season. You look at the next 5 games, it's not one of the hardest, but it's in the top sort of 6 or 7 hardest in the next sort of 5 games. There's a lot of pressure, really, I think, on Chelsea, Mo and Hussam, to deliver in their next 5 games now, because considering they had on paper one of the easiest starts, it's why Villa are in a lot of trouble as well, because Villa had one of the easiest starts. They've now got 5 very, very hard games coming up. There's a lot. There is pressure mounting on Maresca, irrespective.
There is pressure mounting on Maresca, and here's the thing: Mo's talking about questioning his ball knowledge. You know, I thank God that I do straight facts with both of you guys, because we actually say our opinions, and instead of being worried about our ball knowledge being questioned, sometimes we say stuff and we get it wrong, and it's okay. And people need to understand, on YouTube, we will always get stuff wrong. We are at the end of the day, we make our opinions based off judgments. And I realized something. The reason why we have such high expectations of Chelsea is PSG. That game, I feel like, changed our expectation of Chelsea tenfold, to be honest with you, because they beat PSG in the Club World Cup final. I think all of us are sat here expecting a lot more of Chelsea than should be expected. I think Maresca is a good coach. I don't think he should be sacked. I do think that the issue still is the scouts and the owners and the way that they run the football club. And here's the problem with Chelsea fans. Chelsea fans got upset at me. I was doing a show with Matisse, big up Matisse, and I called out Chelsea. I said, I think Chelsea are just the blue Arsenal now. You know, we could come up here and we can go like, yeah, Chelsea win trophies. Yeah, guess what? Arsenal would have won the Conference League as well. Would they have won the Club World Cup? Maybe yes, maybe no. I don't know, you know, but they would have also won the Conference League most likely. The thing is, I look at this Chelsea situation and it's so obvious what's happening at Chelsea Football Club. Here's the problem with this conversation. Chelsea fans have now turned into Liverpool fans 4 years ago. Every Chelsea fan now must have an accounting degree while talking about Chelsea. It's all about accounting. Yeah, but we're going to flip Garnacho and we're going to flip and we're going to flip. Great. You're going to flip Garnacho. So when Garnacho gets flipped, does that money go in your pocket or BlueCo's pocket?
Lewis makes money. Lewis makes money from BlueCo.
Lewis makes money what? When they sell Garnacho. Todd Bowley
Yeah.
sends him an envelope. Like what? They send
Yeah.
him like...
He's
they
20,
send him
it's
money.
20,
And
it's
people are like,
20 pounds.
oh, by the way, Lewis, here's your commission, bro. Like, obviously, none of them make money. When Garnacho came on away at Brentford, I promise you, no Chelsea fan in the moment was thinking about, oh, we're going to sell him this summer and make money. No one was thinking about that. It's about the quality that you have on the pitch. I think Maresca has been let down by the club. I think Maresca has been let down by the ownership. I think Maresca has been let down by the board. Like the fact that they did not sign a new keeper when clearly he wanted one because of what he said about because of the whole Mike Maignan situation. When you go spend essentially almost 80-90 million on Gittins and Garnacho, with all due respect, that's embarrassing. If I was Chelsea Football Club this summer, I don't even make like 500 signings. I make like 3-4 signings. That's all they needed. All Chelsea needed this summer was just like a unbelievable striker with Delap, because I think Delap is a good backup option. All they need is just an unbelievable striker, an unbelievable winger, a very good centre back, and a very good keeper. If Chelsea signed 4 very good players, they would have been in a much better position. Mike Maignan was what, like 20 million? They could have went and gotten a centre back for 30-40 million. By the way, Mark Guehi, prime example, Premier League captain, proven, everything. You get me? If they came in for him at the start of the summer and offered 40 million to get him out Palace would have probably accepted that. So that's right there, 60 million already solved 2 big problems. You go and you sign an Osimhen or whoever it is, Jokeres, you get me? Strikers like that available, 70-80 million. They could have went and got a Rodrigo. They could have went and got a goal-scoring winger, you know, someone who is levels, even like an Eze, by the way. At the start of the summer when Arsenal didn't go in for him yet, they could have bought him to play left wing. So that's the thing for me. Like, I look at this whole situation is like Chelsea have been let down by the board and by the Win Stanleys and the stewards of the world again. It's just the truth, and I don't think it's Maresca's fault. And if there is this player power thing against Maresca, with all due respect, I think if BlueCo have anything about them, they back the manager, not the players. If
But
they
clap for the board for lowering the wage bill. Like the Chelsea content creators, they sit on streams and like, yeah, but net spend and the wage bill. But how much do you pay Havertz? But how much do you pay this guy? I'm like, what does this have to do with winning?
Well, look,
like,
I think
I will Sam tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's like, give me the best player in the world and pay him the highest wages as long as
I don't know anyone's wages at Liverpool except Mo, because he signed his contract like 3 months ago.
I do get what you're saying, right? I agree they should have bought a goalkeeper. I still can't believe there are some Chelsea fans out there. I mean, you guys saw it in the group chat, the debate yesterday. I mean, first of all, I was called out for bringing into that debate the Donnarumma argument. I didn't. I mentioned it on the show, and Ches, the Chelsea fan, put it into the group chat. But the fact there were Chelsea fans saying no, under their system, Sanchez is the better option to Donnarumma. I still find that Sanchez is good with his feet, but I'm going to be honest with you, that's actually where he makes more of his mistakes. I think he makes more than what Donnarumma would. Shot stopping, yeah, Sanchez is good. He's made some brilliant saves, there's no doubt. But Onana made some brilliant saves for Man United. But it's when those mistakes come, they cost you. This weekend against United was an absolute prime example, because United have followed a pattern most of this season. Start well, nearly always concede, then can't win the game. Might draw, but don't win the game. The fact that he did what he did, I know it was raining, all right? I know it was torrential weather. I know Old Trafford was buzzing at that time. Whether you hate my club or love my club, that atmosphere was intense, and it was dark and the floodlights were on, and I get all of that. But that's why and Chelsea are such a big club. They're such an elite club, and I feel they've got a very good squad, and I do think they've got a pretty good manager as well. I just look at those little mistakes there. That all being said, their squad is good enough to have more than 8 points in these opening 15 games.
True.
I know Palace, you can, and they're 19. We'll get onto them in a minute. They're 19 games unbeaten. Maybe a draw, you could argue is fair. They smashed up West Ham as they should. West Ham are probably the worst team in the league at the moment, if we're being absolutely honest. The Fulham game, look, I watched that match, and that goal shouldn't have been disallowed. It would have changed things. They still weren't that good afterwards. They then played Brentford, and yes, that last goal shouldn't have stood, but they didn't perform well at all, Chelsea. They're then beaten by Manchester United, comprehensively beaten by Bayern Munich. Whether you want Maresca to stay or not, the next 5 games are going to be massive.
Had
Because
to come back to beat Lincoln, by the way.
Yep, I absolutely. And they did that. And even then, I mean, Jorgensen was doing his absolute best to throw the ball into the back of the net. But that's another recruitment issue, not so much Maresca. They needed a proper goalkeeper. And, you know, if he has to come in and he's going to have to play the next league game, you just get those balls into that box. I mean, Brighton don't really play that way, but we'll see what happens. I think he has to get 10 plus points in the next 5 games. Otherwise, I think that pressure is really going to start to mount from their fan base. I do. D here says that with all due respect, you guys want to analyze Chelsea like a normal football club. They don't operate like one. They are an investment scheme.
He's right. He's right.
Yeah, he's right. By the way, as soon as he sent the super chat, I was about to tell you, please put it up on the screen, because I completely agree with Diallo here. I think Chelsea, we can't analyze them as a football club because they have become like an investment scheme, basically. And it's very unfortunate for the fans, but it's just, there's nothing.
Because the money, for example, you finish 4th. Okay. Logically speaking, guys, if this is Arsenal, Man United, Spurs, if you finish 4th and you have Caicedo being one of the best midfielders, Enzo Fernandez, Enzo Fernandez had a glorious season, right, in comparison with other midfielders in the league. And he spent close to 300 and 200 or 250. I'm expecting a much better Chelsea on the pitch. I am not expecting to see Chalobah, Sanchez, or Jorgensen and Fofana on the pitch. Like, it doesn't matter if Colwell is injured or not. I'm not with all due respect to Andre Santos or anybody, I am not expecting to see Bonanotti being subbed for Cole Palmer if he's injured. Like, you had a very good team with that much money. I'm not expecting your 2 wingers to be Garnacho and Gittins in one side. That doesn't make any sense. You finish 4th. You won the Club World Cup. The money.
Can I ask you an honest question, Mo? If Chelsea called Liverpool and offered 35 million for Federico Chiesa, isn't it better than buying Gittins and Garnacho?
35 million? Well, like 25
yes.
20 million.
I'm saying 35 million. Let's say they tripled what we paid.
They wanted 15 million when Juventus, they didn't pay it. 15 million, Chiesa would have been sold.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Chiesa alone is better than Garnacho and Gittins. And that's my bench option.
Semenyo, okay, they paid 50 million, 52 million for Gittins and 40 million. That's 92 millions. You basically can go and get Semenyo for 70 million, and the 25 million left, you can buy Chiesa as backup and still have money left. Left side fixed.
And use the 10 million left and add another 10 million to it. You have Mike Maignan.
Yeah, Mike Maignan. There you go. 100 million and fix your left side.
We just solved 3 problems. 3 problems immediately like this. Me and Mo are content creators. We're not even like Chelsea board members.
But you know what the problem is? Chiesa have no resale value. Mike Maignan have no resale value. Semenyo is coming to Chelsea, and he's not someone to be sold later. He's someone that was coming in and establishing a career. He's like, I'm coming to establish a career. My problem with Chelsea is very simple. Maresca can be a very good coach. I think they're letting him down. He's looking at his fucking bench and he's saying Gittins and Garnacho. He's looking at his bench and seeing Tosin is your option as a center back, or Fofana. He's seeing Jorgensen as the backup. Hey, by the way, people that actually fault Maresca for backing Sanchez, you're all clowns. The guy wanted the goalkeeper. He has to back Sanchez. What do you want him to come on the media and bash Sanchez, his starting goalkeeper, when he knows that his second goalkeeper is like yesterday? He's been let down. Like yesterday, we watched Jorgensen. What a shit show. A shit show from Jorgensen.
D King here says, Don Hussam, where was this energy in January 2025 for Arteta?
What is this?
Huh? What does this have to do with that?
Well, I'll tell you what. I can't remember exactly what Hussam said, but I don't remember a single person on a Straight Facts panel in January not condemning Arsenal for not buying more players.
Oh, you're talking about the transfer window. Yeah,
that's all I can think it's about. We're talking about transfers. So
yeah, not a single person.
Even Arteta himself said that he wanted a striker.
Big up to Terry, Mo, and Sam and the TFC community. Always love this show and the conversations. Keep up the great work. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that massively. Do you think Ineos's first window has been good? Well, their first window was last summer. They signed some good players. I mean, I really like Didnt. I think Didnt gets absolutely no love from the media, and he should. He's been brilliant for us. I like young Lenny Yoro. Mazraoui, excellent signing. Xerxes.
I thought even Dorgo has done better than the price tag that you want to.
Yeah,
he's not great.
He was decent. I Dorgu, Xerxes started to look really good before his hamstring injury, and he's barely played since, which is understandable when you've been out for a few months. Ugarte, very big question marks over, really, because he's not getting into the team. This summer just gone, he got injured after a couple of games, but I like what Cunha's looked like. I've loved Mbumo so far. We haven't seen the new goalkeeper. And Šeška, listen, like the weekend made me so sad against Chelsea. When the red card happened with 2-0 up, I was like, oh, great. I was very convinced Šeška was going to get on the score sheet because of the way the game was going, and then Cass messed that up. But yeah, I've been happy with their signings, but it's about knitting it all together, my friend. The signing's not too bad. Imagine Terry's search history now. Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, because of the Areola thing. Yeah,
but let us know, people. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Obviously, really bad news today for Liverpool. You know, last night you win a game. Isak gets himself off the mark, which I think is important in terms of just removing that little, no one's going to be doing no 007 nonsense and the pressure that comes with being the signing he is. I was saying last night, for a fact that all those Newcastle journalists have got articles ready, printed, for if he starts to fail or misses chances. They're already they've already got the base of them written. They'll just add in that bit details from that game. But obviously, a big blow last night to your new young centre-back, Leoni. His ACL has gone. We everyone kind of see him have that fall, that accident on the side of the pitch late on and wasn't moving great, but he's now out for the season, which, listen, it isn't one of your first team centre-backs, but that area of centre-backs is probably the big concern that Liverpool supporters had going into the season. You're now left down to just Gomez, Konate, and Van Dijk. So a little concerning there, because one more injury and you're suddenly very, very bare in that area.
Yes, we have a problem, big problem. First of all, I wish Leoni a speedy recovery because obviously ACL, 18 years old, you have to feel very bad for him, specifically given the fact that he actually looked really good out there yesterday. When I did my match reaction, when I came on the Football Terrace, I came here and I said, I think Leoni had a very good game, and he's unbelievably talented, but the guy, getting an ACL at 18 years old, is very difficult. So I wish him a speedy recovery, obviously. And look, there's no vodka around here, water only. You get me? This is the thing with this conversation. Obviously, it's very sad. And now, from a Liverpool Football Club perspective, we have no option other than Joe Gomez. So we are very weak right now defensively. I think, given the way that this season will probably progress, Liverpool Football Club now have to go back in for Mark Guehi in January. I think that's the most logical thing to do now, specifically if Leoni is out till the end of the season. Hopefully, we can survive from now to the end of the year. I know, we've seen a world in which Gravenberch plays centre-back. We've seen a world in which Endo plays centre-back, etc. And that might work against certain teams, but you cannot go Chelsea away as an example and play, Endo at centre back. You can play Endo at centre back maybe at home to Leeds or something. You can, but you can't do it away to a Chelsea. So there's difficult fixtures coming up for us, and we have to pray that Konate stays fit now for as long as possible. We have to pray for his fitness, because if Konate is injured now, it's basically Virgil and Gomez in all competitions, baby, which is a problem. I see probably Robertson maybe getting minutes at centre back, as crazy it sounds. That might be a situation right now where it happens. We saw it happen yesterday. He played Robertson centre back. So for me, I think January might be a time where we need to reinvest from a centre back perspective, and that's why one of the reasons why during the summer I did want Mark Guehi. One of the big reasons why I wanted him is obviously Leoni's 18 years old, Gomez is injury prone, we know Konate is injury prone, so hopefully we need the January transfer window can't come fast enough. It's currently October, so we have to get through in 7 days. We have to get through these next 3 months, and after that,
if there's a manager out there that you look at and you trust that he will find a solution, play 3 at the back with Robertson at a left centre back, or even Kirk as he did it before, or even find the solution within, it's Arne Slot. He found the solution last season for Gravenberch as a DM, he played Endo as centre back. I think he will find a solution. There is a way around it, of course. He can play the 3-5-2, whatever. He will actually make it work, Arne Slot. I'm not worried about Liverpool centre back at all because Van Dijk is there, and he's like Osam can play next to him, and Van Dijk would look okay. To be honest with you, like he would look competent enough to play in the
Oh,
Premier
tell them
League.
who's the greatest centre back ever in Premier League history. In most
Virgil
opinion.
Virgil van Dijk is not. It's not even. I don't think I don't think even anyone close. To be honest with you, and I'm like, with all due
Van
respect,
Dijk is the best centre back Premier League history. You heard it
like,
here
and
first.
it's not even close. Like people
That's the
talk about
title of
Rio
your
and
clip,
Terry.
KJ.
Like it's not even close. Like Rio Ferdinand, bro. Rio Ferdinand cannot lace the boots of Virgil van Dijk. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. To be honest with you, it's not individual. It's not even.
Say that when Terry's here, I dare you.
I'm being serious. Wallah, you think
Say it when Terry's here, I
for the
dare you.
people that say you don't even watch Terry, I watched all John Terry's. Sorry, not Terry. What's his name?
Ferdinand.
Rio Ferdinand's career at Man United. All of it, and all John Terry's. John Terry close, maybe close to him, but Rio Ferdinand, bro, cannot lace his boots. It's like, to be honest with you, I'm being crazy. People saying in the chat I'm being crazy, which is fucking weird. But anyway, Liverpool, as long as you have Van Dijk, you'll be all right. To be honest with you, you'll be all right. It's amazing. People say Rio. You guys didn't watch. Nostalgia kicks in. Rio Ferdinand. He's getting destroyed left and right. To be honest. But anyway, Liverpool will find a way. But I'm gonna tell you guys a secret. I'm coming from the future. If Liverpool win against Crystal Palace that haven't lost in 19 games, hold it. Shut it down. Make the trophy presentation at Selhurst Park on Saturday and just end the season there.
Why?
They haven't lost in 19 games. 19. Okay, can you imagine the number? It's like 19 games Crystal Palace under Glasner. And if Liverpool go and win that game, I don't give a fuck if it's minute 90. It doesn't matter if it's minute 95. It doesn't matter.
Say
But
it
if
now.
Liverpool-
Say it.
Say what? That Virgil van Dijk
Say what you said when he wasn't here. Say it.
is the best centre back.
No. The other statement. Say it.
Yeah,
right
Rio
now.
Ferdinand cannot lace Virgil van Dijk's boot individually as a defender, 100%. And don't. Okay, before you come
I'm
in,
gonna
and
fuck off again now. I'm gonna see you later. Lacey's boots.
yeah,
Wow.
bro. I'm gonna tell you something. And people that said the Mo didn't watch, you know that I watched all Virgil van Dijk's career at Man United. Rio Ferdinand's career at Man United since he joined till the end. Virgil van Dijk is levels above him. Maybe John Terry is closer, but Rio Ferdinand, no. You know, I rate Vidic more than Rio Ferdinand, right?
That's fine. I would say this, right? I'm not getting into the debate.
That's
But
the
I
one
think
he was like, Mo, can you say in front of Terry? It's like,
yeah,
No, because as soon as Terry walked up, he was like, Rio Ferdinand can't place Van Dijk's boots.
No. You fraud. Ask me who's the best center back. Who
Yeah,
comes
I said
close.
because I thought you. Okay, I knew that you thought Van Dijk was the best centre back in Premier League history. I never knew
I think
that
there are
you
levels. I think
but I
levels.
never knew that you think Rio can't lace his boots. I've never heard that.
Terry's close. Rio Ferdinand, not even close, bro. I'm being serious. As an individual defender, Rio Ferdinand is not even close.
I fucking
like-
love Mo, man.
Well, not even close to him.
what was it about Rio Ferdinand that only makes him an average?
He's a reactive defender, not as quick as Van Dijk. Strong, yes. Very reactive defender. Good in partnership with others, but he isn't Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, for me, can lead any defense.
So
I explained to you. So
okay,
any more questions?
What do you make of his position? You think his positioning is bad?
He's okay. Not Virgil van Dijk.
Ability on the ball?
Not Virgil van Dijk.
No, but we're not talking about Virgil van Dijk. We're talking about like
we're comparing him to Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, but I want to know what you think of Rio. So you can't just say not
average defender on the ball. Nesta, like even less than Nesta, Cannavaro. Who else? Like he's not elite on the ball like Virgil van Dijk.
What about his ability to command the air, clear balls, headers, that type of work as a defender? Where do you rate that?
Tarkowski's fantastic as a someone that clears the air and just wins duels and stuff like this.
So you put him in Tarkowski's level?
I didn't. In that category, yes, Tarkowski. You said duels and stuff like this. Yes, Tarkowski's elite blocks and stuff.
You said earlier about like your football night. I'm not going to be rage bait into anything.
I'm not trying to rage bait. That's really my opinion, by the way.
You know, I asked Mo, just so you know, Terry, I asked
Yeah.
Mo, by the way, he was watching Italian football for a long time. I asked him just historically, in full football history, who does Mo think is better than Van Dijk? And to be fair, this is Mo's opinion, and he's substantiated his claim. He thinks that historically, from all the football he's watched, the only two defenders he thinks is better than Van Dijk is Maldini and Nesta. That's it.
Remember, I didn't watch Baresi. I didn't watch Franco Baresi. I didn't watch.
Yeah, so like after Baresi, basically.
Look, and that's fair analysis. I think that the one thing that Van Dijk has in his favor is he's not competing against those defenders at the same time.
I won the argument.
Oh no, it's not.
I won the argument.
We're not having an argument.
No, because the problem is once we start bringing like, but Rio Ferdinand was playing against tougher attackers, but
that's not what
the way teams you just said that.
No, I didn't. I was talking. What I said to you. I didn't, because the reason why you don't know what I said is because you interjected. What you can do, you can sit in your hands for a minute like a good boy and be quiet.
Oh my!
I bet you can do it.
He's mad.
So I'm talking about comparing the defenders against one another. So when you talk across generations rather than comparing people that actually played against one another, it makes it a different conversation for me. So Van Dijk has been the best centre back in the last 7 or 8 years in his era. I don't think there's been many, especially in the Premier League, that have been close to him. Had there been 4, 5, 6 others that were close to him, you might not think he's the best in Premier League history, because it's Van Dijk, the advantage he has in these debates. By the way, Rio said this the other day, and I agree with Rio. Van Dijk would have been one of the best in the world in any of these eras. I'm not going to play down Van Dijk's quality, right, but it's often about perspective. And we've had these conversations about certain players before. If you're in an individual team, if you are the big fish in a tiny pond, so you're a world-class player in an average team, you could often sometimes stand out more than when you become a world-class player in a team with 7 or 8 other world-class players in a gigantic ocean. I think the same can be done for comparisons in that regard. I think that
that's a fair argument, actually.
It's absolutely fair. It's absolutely fair to say you think Van Dijk's better than Rio. I'm not even going to argue it because I think it's close. I think the disrespectful part is not lacing his boots. And I'll give you an example. And again, it's how understanding what that word means. Where I'm from, I'll say this to you now. What we would say is Darwin Núñez cannot lace Harry Kane's boots because there is that much difference between them. I don't think there's that much difference between Rio Ferdinand and Virgil van Dijk. I don't think one's Darwin Núñez and one is Harry Kane. I think that is what that phrase is used for. I think if you think Van Dijk's better, that's fine. But Rio Ferdinand, when you say, well, the one thing you said that is objectively wrong is he wasn't very good with the ball. Rio Ferdinand was one of the very first and few, along with John Terry, centre-backs in Premier League history who had the ability to come out with the ball and play with it. In fact, he played in midfield on a number of occasions as well. And for that era of football was looked at across the world as one of the very best technically gifted and ball-playing centre-backs. Now, is he as good as the centre-backs today? No, but that's everything to do with training and what centre-backs are taught to do from a younger age compared to his generation. And that's what makes it hard to compare eras, like goalkeepers. The goalkeepers from the 70s, 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, they weren't trained at any point to be able to do with their feet what keepers do now. So I find Alisson's better. People go, Alisson's better than Cech because Cech couldn't use his feet. I find it a disingenuous argument because goalkeepers have changed. Their role has changed within football, as an example.
I agree with that.
So it's football changes. There was a lot more one-on-one defending done in years gone by, so defenders were tested in a very, very different way. Also, you had a lot of, you're talking about centre-backs, forget Rio, just all of the ones you mentioned. They played in an era where you played up against 2 strikers with 2 centre-backs rather than just with one. So there's all these differences, and I've said for years, and I've never, ever once slagged off Van Dijk. I've literally said best centre-back in the world for the last 8 years, wouldn't do it. For me, we're comparing eras versus eras where we all admit football changes, but yet we want to do comparisons of players from different eras. I think it's really difficult to do that because times do change, things change, as an example. But
so who do you think? Okay, so who do you think is better, Van Dijk or Rio Ferdinand?
I'm going to say Rio Ferdinand, but I think it's marginal.
Alright,
I think it's marginal.
Okay.
But like I've said, if someone goes Van Dijk, cool. The only thing you've said that I think most Liverpool fans would disagree with you on if they're being serious is there isn't this can't lace his boots. Is Darwin Núñez can't lace?
Someone said it in the
Torres'
comment.
voice.
It doesn't have to be that. Maybe Rio Ferdinand was a BMW, but Virgil van Dijk is the Rolls Royce. He's not a Corolla. He's not like a Fiat.
Yeah, but it
But
depends what
maybe
BMW.
he's a
'cause-
BMW, but
well,
there's
it- well,
the
depends-
difference
it-
between a BMW and Rolls Royce.
Well, maybe
It's the same difference, probably.
The
between
thing
a
is, though, that
BMW and a
Rolls Royce
Corolla.
comment, Rio Ferdinand was one of the first footballers in England, if not the only footballer of his generation that was referred to as a Rolls Royce. The difference is you're comparing a Rolls Royce from 30 years ago to a Rolls Royce now. All modern cars look better than old cars, but that's because you're looking backwards. You look at a sports car from the 1980s, it looks shit compared to today's sports cars, but it wasn't shit in the 80s. You're not looking at it through the right lens. And I defend all of this. By the way, you know, this is one day going to happen to the legend of today's game. We'll be sitting here in 30 years, in 20 years time, 30 years time, and all the youngsters will be talking about the players now compared to the ones we're now speaking on, and all the kids in the comments will be like, nah, you're not seeing it right. Football's changed now. You can have 11 subs. You know, you're allowed to handball it twice a game. The rules will be bad by then. Do you know what I mean? But I hear you. Terry-based Moses Shambles followed by Terry, your logic is so bad. I don't think my logic is so bad. And again, I said nothing detrimental. I just think saying Rio can't lace Virgil's boots is crazy. Let's go back to these super chats here. Do you fellas think Reece Williams will get a shout starting for a few games? Is he still at your club?
Reece Williams is still at the club, by the way.
Reece Williams, the centre back.
Yes,
I didn't know he was there.
tall centre back. Yeah. He's still at the club. Yeah, he might. The way that this is going, just pray for Gomez and Konate's health, bro, and Virgil's health, of course. Just pray. That's the only advice I give. As things stand, maybe Endo is the fourth choice centre back. That's what I'll say. Hopefully today in the draw we get like Stockport at home or something.
Rio is not an elite defender. Terry knows about it. Well, again, I just disagree.
It's funny because you keep calling out people football knowledge, and your name is football knowledge, yet you're not knowledgeable.
But this is the thing, saying is not elite. I mean, there's an irony in this. Is some people talk about Paul Scholes and say he was only called elite years after he finished playing, and football knowledge had done that on streams. Okay,
Yeah, that's
Rio
Osama's fault. We all know.
Okay, that's fine though. But
Can you stop this? Why do you think I'm so influential? Relax.
hang on, guys. Let me just. But you are an influencer. It's your job. But my view on it is this: people will pick. Rio Ferdinand was considered an elite since about the age of 19 years of age. Did it for multiple teams in the Premier League. Was fantastic internationally. Was an amazing player. Now, of course, there's a catalogue of his errors that you can see compilations for, but there's a catalogue of Van Dijk's errors, especially if you go back to before he joined Liverpool. There's lessons he joined a better team. Go back to his Southampton days. You know, you'll get a lot because again, he was not in as good a team. And
I don't think you can name more than two centre backs better than Rio in Premier League history. Your maximum is Terry and Virgil.
Yeah, or the thing is, for me, like everyone,
I actually agree with. By the way, I agree with Terry on the whole lace his boots part. I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, again, that's all I'm fighting against. I don't mind if people say they're better than him, but again, for me though, maybe just wasn't here long enough. The best centre back for me in Premier League history was Jaap Stam. What that man did in the 3 years he was here, he was just out of this world. And the only reason he'll never get the only reason
anyone in the chat that says Vincent Company, that's what's what we call it, pep tax. That's what we call it.
Vincent Company was very good
defender, but
my favorite is Jaap Stam. The only reason he won't get the crown is he only did 3-4 years here. So I understand that. But for me, the top four, I think you're hard pushed to look beyond Terry, Rio, Van Dijk, and
Tony Adams.
Tony Adams is up near the top. Sol Campbell is up near the top. I tell you someone who won't get a shout. His injuries ruined his career, but he was as good as all those players when he was fit. Was Ledley King? He was absolutely sensational as a defender. So there's quite a few, and I don't think what I say about all those defenders. I don't think there's one of them that is miles clear of another. I think they're all in a pen, and they are all absolutely top class. But the games change, and I think that one thing that Van Dijk has is he is just clear in this era. I can't think of another centre back in the last. You've had like
Right
years
now,
where
now there is no.
Like Diaz had a year where he might have been the best, or John. Like, there's been like a year where this guy's really good, and a year where that guy's really good. But in terms of that, was what's so amazing about Rio and John Terry's era. You forget about Carvalho that was next to John Terry as an example. There was just so many top defenders at the same time, and maybe it's the perspective thing. So imagine John Terry was John Terry in an era where there was nobody else as good as him. You may all just think, oh my God, he was so supreme, nobody could get close to him. But was that because there was just nobody that was as good as him? Imagine there was 5 or 6 players of Van Dijk's level in the Prem at the same time. Would we think Van Dijk is so clear? It's an argument in that. And that happens quite a bit. But yeah, fantastic player. I'll take nothing away from him. He's in that conversation. He's been world class.
Great defenders in the Prem now is like competing with Van Dijk. Maguire, Tarkovsky, are great defenders. What are you talking about, bro?
Stam has stated that Van Dijk is better than Rio and Terry. Look, Yep Stam has a bias in there as being Dutch.
Other footballers' opinion doesn't matter.
But yeah, look, I think it doesn't.
Also, it's our opinion. You don't have to hold the same opinion. The pundit doesn't have to have the same opinion. It's our opinion.
I disagree with this logic so much. I don't give a fuck what one footballer said about the other. I don't care. I really don't care. Because some might have more difficult experiences against some might have had a bad game against some, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, look, I look at it like the opinion holds some water, but I would say this to Liverpool fans: don't allow the quality of a player to sway your opinion too much, because some of the greatest of all time have said that Scholes is the greatest of all time. So if you're going to use that as your trump card to the argument, it's going to undo you in future debates.
Thiago Silva is better than Virgil van Dijk.
He didn't play. Okay, I'll say this: if Thiago Silva had played his peak years in the Premier League, there'd be a close conversation.
You're absolutely spot on. But the guy built his persona in Ligue 1. Like just the majority of his career was in Ligue 1. His prime years. He chose that. It's not us. He didn't choose this.
Yeah.
No, I get that. Ledley King was referred to as a Rolls Royce. Yeah, Ledley King was amazing. He was just the injuries let him down, and being at Tottenham. Sam, Mela, right? Malay, right? Padam Muka. I don't know what that's about.
Regarding Trent Padan Muka, what does that mean? I speak Malay like a little bit though, but I'm not like an expert. Right.
We all agree that one of the worst defenders to play that is labeled as a good defender is Carragher. Is that fair to say?
Padan Muka is the saying. I knew I heard it. You deserve it, basically.
Okay.
That's what he said. No, I don't think I don't have.
What do you mean he deserves it?
I might be wrong about the I might be sorry, not wrong. I might be the only or not the only. Okay, it's very unfair to say the only. I might be one of the few Liverpool fans that feel this way, but I don't really feel like resentment towards Trent like that. Good luck to him in his future, and that's it.
A few people in the comments have said that there's like karma with this injury because of the amount of Liverpool fans that mocked Trent's injury, but that's just idiots for you. That do that. You know, it's just there's no room for people like that in football for me. But there we go.
And at the end of the day, let's keep in mind it's not that Leoni mocked Trent's injury. Like it's not that he personally mocked his injury. It's a couple of stupid fans. I don't mock anyone's injury.
Morton Pedersen here says Rio also said that it would have been much more difficult for him to play the way Van Dijk operates at Liverpool than it would have been for Van Dijk to adapt to the way he played. However,
I think back in the day the strikers were better, but today the wingers are better and the line is a lot higher. That's the problem.
Yeah,
so you're seeing a lot of the time, like most of the time, okay, let's use Ronaldo as an example. Ronaldo's role at Man United, most of the time, Ronaldo had to come up against the left back. Most of the time, it's always the left back, or the right back, or etc. Like wherever Ronaldo played, right? That's why Ronaldo said his toughest opponent was Ashley Cole. Nowadays, it's like centre backs have to defend against wingers one-on-one a lot of the time, and the line is really high, and they use that to their advantage. As an example, who was the guy that scored the goal at Anfield, first game of the season? Semenyo. It wasn't Eben Nilsson. It was Semenyo.
Yeah. No, I look at this way. Look, Rio, like a lot of the ex-United legends, one thing where I will back him is they're often quite self-deprecating. Like I see Rooney gets asked questions, like serious ones about how good do you think he was, and he'll just laugh and say that's for other people to decide. And I think that for me, that's often a sign of someone who is truly one of the best, who doesn't have to say they're the best, but that's just me. But adapting is really interesting when you're finished. When you're finished as an athlete, when you look at things, it's hard to adapt. And I'll give you an example. Back to my old sport. So this may or may not make sense, but I used to do katas with a bow staff. Now there's the real bow staffs that you would fight with, and they're not heavy, but they're very strong wood, and they're hard to move. So they're quite long. But in the competitive nature, every kind of generation, they found ways of making them stronger but lighter. So when you were doing the katas and the forms to them, people were able to manipulate and move them quicker. Of course, you had to keep the form and the strikes right and everything else. And I remember this guy called, his name was Philip Bowman. He was Canadian, and he found some wood, and he found a way of making staves out of them, and they were so light. And I remember one of the guys who just retired from competing, he was a very good bowman. He was dropping it all the time. He was like, I can't move it. It's too quick. The bow staff moves too quick. He's like, I could never do what you guys are doing and do forms with them. And I always remember my coach looking at him like he was a dickhead and went, but you would have done if you were 10 years old, 15 years old, picking this up and learning it. But you're 42 years old now, my friend. Of course, your brain can't adapt to these new things because that's just the nature of it. And I think that's also the issue. Rio is looking at it from the perspective of, I couldn't play that way. Well, of course you can't. You're 40 plus years old and your career's done. Had you been coming up and that's how football was being played, you would have been trained to play that way and you would have been okay with doing it. So that's why comparing eras is really, really hard and difficult in my personal opinion. I think the talent throughout the eras, I don't look at it like Pele would still have been brilliant in this era, even though, because he would just been trained different, he'd have eaten different, he'd have done different type of weight training so that he could have coped with the speed of today's game, even though he was a very fast player. It's just, I think we do too much in this space, including the ex-pros. Adams, Terry, Stam, yeah, all fantastic players, no doubt. Mamadou Sissoko from Liverpool, best defender in the world. Yeah, you guys went up level. You guys went up levels. Compared to what you guys use. Imagine most of the Premier League era until Van Dijk. This was crazy. Your best centre back was Hippier for like 30 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, Hippier was good.
He was good.
Hippier is the same level as Vincent Kompany.
I would say that's fair. I'd say that's fair. I wanted to chat about Arsenal for a minute, lads. Obviously, they play Port Vale tonight, which is a game they should and must win. But how important do you think it is with Madueke being out, the draw that's happened, the narrative around Arsenal this week? How important is it in your opinion? Can I start
this?
Yeah, how important is it they go to Newcastle and they get that win this weekend?
I'm going to say something that is, people are going to say I'm glazing Arsenal, but I'm not. I'm tired of the crying, bro. I'm so tired of waking up every morning. Madueke is injured. Oh, now Saka has to play every game. He's going to get injured. What do you want? You signed the backup for Saka. He got injured. Fucking happens. What do you want? Oh, Saka now is going to get injured again. Then Madueke comes back and then Saka's injured. What is this new crying thing that is going around? What is this? Bro, it's fucking crazy to me. This is why you have a squad. So Madueke gets out for 6 weeks or something. Well, I'm like looking at Twitter. I'm tired. People like to fucking moan and complain every time. You see Osam now, Leoni got injured. He's like, yeah, we have to watch for Konate and his injury. Maybe we sign someone. Like, he's being like positive. He didn't fucking sit on the stream and fucking cried for the whole hour about Leoni getting injured. He moved on. Yo, people are fucking so... Bro, I am so upset with this new crying thing about the injuries. Injuries happen in football. Palmer is injured. Adi, that's a growing. Khalas, you move on. You go to the next player. That's why you build a squad. You signed the backup for Saka. To be honest with you, and he got injured. Saka plays. It's okay, but he's like, bro, I'm tired. Wallah al-Azim, I'm tired of this. And the problem is, some Arsenal fans, you are feeding into the rivals' narrative. Because the rivals pick on this.
But you know whose fault it is, right? For this narrative? You blame me for certain narratives. You actually know whose fault it is? It's actually the positive Arsenal fans, not the negative ones. That it's their fault.
How is that?
Because they have now created this bubble in which they have made people think that you need an ideal world in order to be competitive and win. Do you understand what I'm saying, Mo? Because they got to the level like, we need this, we need this, we need this.
Let me
Let's
interject a
plug in
second.
every single hole and be ready.
I get Mo. Are you criticizing the people that are overly blaming Arteta about the injuries and how, oh my God, we're in trouble? Or is it the positive guys that are using injuries as an excuse? Like, who are you actually focusing on?
No. The ones that keep crying now that there is injuries, like it's not the positive ones. The ones that say that it's his fault now, and they are. Here is the problem. I'm gonna let Hussam talk. Why are you anticipating that Saka will get injured? Like you're already anticipating and assuming that he will get injured, right? Like why?
It's exactly the reason why the epic foul that happened last Friday. Two lovely gentlemen spending 15 minutes on why Everton may potentially somehow could take points off Liverpool, but at the end of it predicted Liverpool win. That way you've covered both bases. If Everton pulled it off, it would have been a I told you. If Liverpool win, it's a I told you. I think this is about preempting. We're going to moan about the manager's training methods, the training ground, the injuries. What now if Saka? What now if Gyökeres? What now if this? What now if that? That way, if it happens, they can say,
"I told you so."
See, I told you so. It's the I told you so awards. That's all this is. Listen, is he responsible for some of the injuries that have happened at Arsenal? I think with Saka, shouldn't have played him in so many games. Should have took him off a bit more in matches. I do agree, but. I went through the list of their injuries. The amount of them that are impact injuries or innocuous injuries, or injuries that really can't be avoided. Oh, he rushed the guy back from an injury. What? The medical team are signing these players off. Now, maybe it's the medical team's fault as an example, but also if you go over again, and it's about data. So funny, right? They often do this have you seen this in the States? They do this where people that are trying to get like really harsh terrorist laws, all their stats about deaths from terrorism, they include. Of course, they include September the 11th. People that don't want those laws, they put out stats. They basically started from the 12th of September, so the stats look worse. And that's what people are doing in football, stat manipulation. It's right. I'm going to look at the last 18 months and go, look how bad our injuries are compared to United and to Liverpool. Arteta's a scumbag. But if you extrapolate it and go over a 4 or 5 year period since he's been there and compare it to everybody else, by and large the same. There'll be a few seasons where Arsenal are worse, somewhere they're better. The bigger issue here is the thing that, ironically, the Standard FC mugs call out and say that everyone should stop moaning. There's too much bloody football. There's a list going around of the amount of injuries now being picked up by players that were playing at the Club World Cup, and how many more of those teams that were there are getting injuries compared to other sides. And I just look at it, and I do agree with you. There is some blame that goes on Arteta, but some of it has been a bit crazy. Some of it is as if he's at fault for Madueke's knee. And then I'm getting him here in conspiracy. Yeah, but Madueke might have said he had to come off. And
is Mo talking about people complaining or Arteta? Which one?
Bro, people already anticipating that Saka will get injured because Madueke got injured. Like they already, bro, wallah, I swear to God, Hussam, people are saying that, yeah, you see Madueke got injured. Now
Saka was 2 years ago when we went through everything. Hussam, you remember that I sat here on streams and I said our forwards weren't good enough. Yeah. You see the difference?
Why 2 years ago, me and you were doing shows and you said that Arsenal stayed fit the whole season? Why people didn't say anything then? When, by the way, Saka played every game and you remember they had no injuries. 2 years ago, Arsenal had no injuries. And
yeah.
Remember, you had to fucking play.
Yeah, Arsenal were fit the whole season. City hadn't.
Konate was out, Trent was out, Salah was out. Everyone was out for Liverpool.
The Liverpool team at home to Man City was like Endo, Harvey Elliott, Connor Bradley.
My point about this, guys, is that I get it. It's good now to criticize Arsenal and Arteta. It's good. But you can criticize the football. You can criticize the choices. Madueke got injured. You don't have to actually voice your opinion on Twitter to say that, yeah, you see Madueke got injured, so I'm assuming that Saka will come back and get injured now. What is this? What is this? It doesn't make any sense to me. Also, there is Max Dauman and there is Nwaneri. And
Nwaneri, yeah, you have options.
Like, I don't understand this. Arsenal spend that money to build a team. You are expecting to get players injured.
But in reverse, let me ask you a question. Liverpool beat Palace, Newcastle beat Arsenal. What happens?
Yeah, I think it's folded. Like, I think actually they should actually have the trophy at Selhurst Park just in case. I think the trophy
feels good to be a gangster.
I think that I was listening.
You know,
to
Mo, I'll be honest with you. You know what you said, what you heard me say about us. Like, I have this feeling in my vein that I feel like Liverpool are just like the new Real Madrid of England. I don't know why. I just feel that way because like we are cooking expeditiously, bro. Like we are just doing so much. Listen, at the end of the day, I agree with Mo. Madueke getting injured, obviously you can't account for it. I see what Rahman posted in the chat about the whole like he felt something pre-game. And to be fair, that is something we can blame Arteta on, which is obviously Saliba felt something pre-game. You played him.
Yeah, but that's anticipation. That's assumptions that it's not a fact.
Hang on. Madueke felt something early in the game and said it was okay to play on. That's so normal in football. The amount of players that will point at their leg, maybe have a bit of physio and then try and carry on. I think again, if this is why I can't blame managers, and it's not about defending Arteta. If every manager took every player off or didn't put them in a matchday squad who felt something, you wouldn't have a squad.
I know. I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. I'm only blaming him a little bit. But right now, because of the Saliba thing, that's why people are upset, because Saliba felt something away at Anfield and he still played him, basically. That's why people are a little bit annoyed, which I get, to be fair. People
By the way, anybody that says that doesn't know football and never played football and doesn't know.
But that's fine, but I'm just telling you why people are
Not
annoyed.
You, but people like when you play football, you know exactly. Sometimes the players make the decision. They say they are fun, and the physio said that you okay. Yes, some people actually.
I understand what you're saying.
Stay. No, I'm staying. I'm not going. And he's like, "You're good." Yes, I'm good. And then the injury happens. Yeah. That happens all the time.
Look, I think Arsenal are in a very dangerous position when it comes to the league situation. I think Arsenal have a good chance on the Champions League, but this weekend is pivotal for Arsenal Football Club. I'll be honest with you, I feel bad about Palace away. This is the first game like I'm low-key scared of, because Palace themselves are actually on some bullshit right now. Like, a draw away from home is a good result, low-key. Like, it's not even that bad to go get a draw at Selhurst Park now. And this is why the Premier League is the best it's ever been, in my opinion, because all these mid-table clubs are no longer guaranteed wins. Maybe a draw away from home at Palace is a good result. It's a very difficult place to go to. 19 games in a row, they haven't lost. 19. Do you know how mad it is to have 19 games undefeated for a side like Crystal Palace? Are we aware of what I just said? Not Liverpool, not City, not Arsenal, not just Crystal Palace have 19 games undefeated. So draw away from home is okay result for me. Like, obviously I want to win 100%, but it's an okay result in my opinion. But I think the Arsenal situation is very difficult right now, because you're already 5 points behind, on 24th September. 5 points behind in September is crazy, and this is something that we don't really see often, unless like usually when someone's 5 points ahead, like already after first five games, they go on to win the league, which I still expect Liverpool to win the league. But I'm simply talking about this weekend. Arsenal have had one shot on target in the last, correct myself, 2 shots on target in the last 3 trips to St. James's Park. So, they're going to have to get that game, which is a very difficult game away for them. They have to fix their mess in terms of like that game right there, and they have to win. Like, here's the problem: Arsenal dropping points now has put them in a position where they're like must win. That's the thing. Like, they have no time to be losing. They have no time to be dropping points again. They're on a must win part right now. You get me? So yeah, that's my thing. So.
Yeah, look, I think it's a little bit of, again, the result that you get against Palace sort of changes it, but I look at it as a must. I think one, it's beating a team they've struggled to win at for a while, whilst Newcastle are not at their best, and they will be up for it, but go there and win. I think the Arsenal fans need a little. It's mad they need it 5 games into a season, but they need a little shot in the arm. You can see the lack of enthusiasm for their team right now as a collective. But equally, if you guys do drop points, it's not an excuse for them to drop points. Like, close that gap. You suddenly go, what is it, 6 point difference or 5 point difference? You guys lose to Palace, which is conceivable, and they win. Suddenly there's 2 points in it. And although every point matters this year, I do feel that the first 5 games of the season, there are some fan bases behaving like everything's over. It's done already. It's crazy. Like, I know you guys.
Can I tell you something for real, Terry?
Go on.
I think the overreaction is a little bit about Liverpool. It's not about Arsenal. I think the overreaction from some of the fans, including myself, is about Liverpool. right? The reason why, because Liverpool won 5 games, as you said. If you showed the graph again, right? If you showed the graph again, Liverpool exceeded their expectations this season by having 15 points. Correct? Arsenal, right? Dropping points against Liverpool at Anfield is not out of the realms of possibility. You would expect Liverpool to win that game, right? Because Arsenal haven't won a lot of games against Big Six, haven't lost any game against Big Six. Yes, but you would expect Liverpool in their strong team to win 1-0 against Arsenal at home. So Arsenal basically currently have lost 2 points against City, but they gained them against Man United. Arsenal today, yeah, maybe they have 2 points less than you expect. The problem is Liverpool. Arsenal won against Man United away, 5 against Leeds, 3 against Forest. Arsenal have won every game that you expect them to win, apart from Manchester City, but they salvaged the point. That point, right, comes the end of the season, might be the reason why they're still in the title race. Now, Hussam made a good point, I think yesterday or the day before we were talking. He's like, now I'm looking at them against Newcastle. Are you going to go to St. James's Park and have a better performance?
Yes. Now that's the thing, Mo. Look, we accept Anfield. I don't accept City at home because City have been shit all season, so I expect better. But Newcastle away from home, sorry. We can't sit here and go like, oh, by the way, guys, Newcastle haven't even been this good this season. They've lost Alexander Isak. They're going through a little bit of a tough period. Newcastle away is no longer the same as Newcastle away 2 seasons ago, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as the game starts and the game ends in a draw or a Newcastle win, people come here and go like, St. James's Park is a difficult place to go. That's the one thing I don't respect. Don't change your energy. I acknowledge that Liverpool's next 2 games are very tough, but I say it. I say it pre-game. Don't say it post-game. That's what I hate. And Mo knows what I mean by saying this. I can't go into the game, Liverpool-Inter Milan, prime example, right? One day before the game, Hussam says, we are going to slap Inter Milan. Inter Milan are very weak. They lost the Champions League final 5-0. After the game, if it ends in a draw, I go like, the San Siro is a very difficult place to go. You cannot do this. You have to choose. Is it an easy game or is it not an easy game? Liverpool's next 2 games are Palace away and Chelsea away. I acknowledge both of them are very difficult fixtures. Probably you give me 4 points right now in the next 2 games, I take it. I recognize that maybe we might draw one of those 2 games. You get me? Maybe even perhaps lose one of the next 2 games. I understand this is how football works. We're obviously not going to go 38-0 like the whole season. We're not going to win 38 games. Obviously, we're going to drop points at some point in time. The problem is, Arsenal fans will come tell you like, oh, Newcastle, you know, they're not the same as they were last season. And then you'll come on the Terrace match reaction and hear them go like, St. James's Park is a very difficult place to go if the game ends in a draw. Yeah, but you didn't say that pre-game. I like for when people keep the same energy. Keep the same energy. Last week, I said the same stuff. I said Liverpool beat Everton. I said Man United will beat Chelsea. And I said Arsenal will drop points against Manchester City. All 3 things happened. I predicted them. You know, I'm not saying I'm like a genie. You know, sometimes I get stuff wrong as well. A lot of times I get stuff wrong. A lot of times I get stuff right. This is football content. No one expects us to be perfect all the time. My only thing is, look, we must acknowledge, is it a tough game or is it a game that you expect Arsenal to win? Because these are 2 different conversations. Now, the reason why it's must win, Mo, and this is where this links to what Mo first started speaking. The reason why it's must win is because already Arsenal have dropped points in 2 games. That's why it's must win. Because now Arsenal have to win this game.
And also, by the way, Newcastle now play different game. We saw them with 10 men attack Liverpool. Newcastle don't play the defensive and counter-attacking football. They play offensive brand of football. So Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, you have to prepare. You play Port Vale. I don't know where Port Vale is, with all due respect. So you can play the under-21s and you can have rest. You can rest the players. And then you can just go to Newcastle fresh and just try to win the game.
Port Vale, man. It's where Robbie Williams is from, the famous singer.
Where is that? South, north, left?
No, it's it's like near Stoke, up the north. It's not far from Crewe and Manchester and places up that way.
Oh, okay, so northwest.
Who's Robbie Williams?
Yeah, Khalas. Terry, it's fine. It's fine.
Fuck off. You don't know who Robbie Williams is. This here from Joshua says,
you know Omar Abdallah? Fuck off.
Sorry?
See? Exactly. Who? Fuck off.
I didn't hear you.
Do you know Omar Abdallah?
Yeah, he had 5 number 1s in the 90s. Yeah, I
there you go. There you go. You don't know Jordanian artists. Wow.
But Robbie Williams is world famous.
Is that famous in America and Egypt and in like
I don't know. I don't know.
He sold like 100 million albums worldwide. Like, part of Take That, one of the biggest boy bands ever. Like, okay, you don't know.
Anyway, just before you do super chats, I do have to go out now. So big up to you because I have
No worries. Cheers, bro. But last two anyway. Mr. United part of the show, but I do feel like we've got to abandon this style of play crap just to win football matches. Like, for example, Real Madrid don't have a style of play. You know, where I agree with you, Josh, is it doesn't need to be named. Like, I think everybody's been chasing, I want a Gergen press style, or I want my club to. I think some people have wanted this to boast. This are like, oh, I want my style of football to get a name like Tiki Taka, so we're bigger and better. There always is a style of play at every club. There is a style of play. It's just often when people go, what's your style of play? Everyone panics. Oh, I look like I've got bad knowledge because it hasn't got a name. That's all it is. It hasn't been given a name by the media. I agree with that part completely.
Iraola doesn't have a style of play, but you would like to watch Bournemouth play football.
Yeah, it hasn't got a name. Yeah. That's what what's the style of play? People go, shit. When Pep just go, it's like tiki-taka, high press, isn't it? It's like, yeah, that's what most teams try to do that. It's just, yeah, no, I agree with you completely. Liverpool weak. That's why, by the way, if you want to get your team more known, if you're a good influencer, when your team starts playing well and playing good football, name the football, get it a name, get that name to catch on, and it will last longer. It's all just PR bollocks. Liverpool's weakness, Endo and Gomez, very short in DM and centre-backs. If they get injuries there, they could be short, no doubt. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in to the show today. It means a great deal to us. We are live after the Carabao Cup games later this evening. Plus, tomorrow we're back. Myself and Mark Goldbridge in the morning for Hot Takes. We've got Six-Sided that will be returning. Plus, FIFA Career Mode coming to the Football Terrace. All ready to go. I had to find this little bad boy. I couldn't find it. I found it. My capture card. But yes, FC 26 FIFA Career Mode coming up on the Football Terrace. I know a lot of you have been asking for that for a few years. So that's dropping very, very soon. That'll be live streaming as well. We'll be live doing that. Yes. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we're going to see you all again very, very soon. Peace.